What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys clicking on today's video. Today what we have in store is we'll be installing our first performance mod on my 2023 F-150 with the 5-liter Coyote engine. I did buy a cold air intake for the truck, and today we will be installing it. So let's get right to it. As you guys can imagine, there is quite a bit of aftermarket intakes to put onto these trucks. There's SMB, there's AFE, there's PMAS, there's quite a bit of them. But the only one that I was able to find some proven gains on the dyno was the PMAS. So that's the intake I chose to go with. There's a video on YouTube where this guy put the truck on the dyno, and he dynoed it factory tune, swapped out the stock intake for a PMAS, and he gained 10 wheel horsepower, and I think it was 11 foot-pound of torque just by swapping out the cold air intake. So that had me sold on this. It does still utilize the, let's see if I can get this out. It does still utilize the factory air box, as you guys can see. The only thing on this PMAS here, it's got 2 ports for the PCV system. The smaller port, which is this one here, we will have to plug it. So the kit does come with all your clamps and couplers, and it does also include the small clamp to put onto that PCV port there, which you will have to buy. Excuse me. I bought these bypass caps, 3/8 inch in diameter. This is what I'm going to use to plug up that port there and then clamp it down. So, like I said, this is the only intake that I saw online that had proven gains. SMB, apparently their inlet, I guess, where it connects to the throttle body, is a lot smaller than the actual throttle body on the V8 Coyote engine. So that there was something I didn't want. This one here, apparently same diameter, and like I said, proven gains. So let's get right into the install. Should be straightforward. We're gonna loosen up the clamp on the throttle body. We're gonna remove these 2 clips here on top of the airbox. This hose here, get that out the way. So that's gonna be a 7mm, I believe, the clamp right on the throttle body. We'll loosen that up, and this whole unit should be able to come out fairly easily. All right, once the clamp is removed, as you guys can see, she'll just pop right out. But we're gonna come over here. The top of this air box does have some teeth that go into some slots there. Remove that. And now technically this should be able to just pop off without any issues. Forgot about this PCV connector. Disconnect that as well, and she'll come out as one whole unit. We'll go ahead and put this to the side here. And now that we got it out, I guess what we can do is compare intake tubes. I mean, as you guys can see, the factory one has all these baffles and stuff like that. It ain't the smoothest, as you can tell. It's got ribbed. Inlet is pretty much same diameter, so that's good. So once again, as you guys can see, we will be utilizing this port because that's where that PCV hose goes connected. But this is the one that gets capped off. As you guys can see, on the factory intake, it don't have one. So apparently the 2018, the 2020 F-150, they did have another port on their intake. So not a big deal. I spoke to PMAS. I made sure that this intake works for the 2023 model as well. They said yes, all you got to do is cap it and it'll be just fine. So once again, as you guys can see, the diameter difference here is way thicker when it comes to the throttle body compared to this one, and this one has a lot of baffles in it, so very restrictive in my opinion. This one looks like the airflow will go a lot smoother. So let's go ahead and get the couplers, clamps, so we can get this one mounted right at the throttle body. So before I put this intake on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cap off this port here. As I mentioned to you, the kit does come with all the clamps and the couplers. They even include the small clamp for that one port that you're not going to use. The only thing you will need to buy separately that does not come included in the kit, as I mentioned, are caps. Any kind of cap that will cap that off pretty much. So let me go ahead and get that done real quick before we put the couplers onto the throttle body and the intake. Alright guys, just like that, that's what it's gonna look like. That should not come off. Next step would be adding this coupler to the throttle body and the intake. Do not forget your clamps. Alright guys, so after a little wrestle with this, I was able to get the hose clamps and these rubber couplers on. It does take a little finesse to get them on. They are super stiff, super tight. But once you get this top part mocked up where it should be, clipped in, you can work yourself all the way back to the throttle body. And as you're going, tighten up these clamps. Do not forget to connect this PCV back into this port. And definitely don't forget to plug up this one here. All right, so I finished up tightening up the clamps. We're gonna go ahead and start her up. Make sure everything's all right. Make sure I don't hear, I guess, any air leaks or vacuum leaks to say. Just gonna make sure all the clamps are good and make sure no check engine light comes on. I doubt there will be because, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to install. So let me hop in and turn her on. Well, there you guys have it. PMAS cold air intake installed on my 2023 F-150 with the 5-liter Coyote engine. Will I feel different in performance? That's still something we're gonna figure out. I do have a video planned for you guys where I'm gonna do a stock draggy run, and then I'm gonna compare it with another draggy run with the PMAS installed. So we'll find out later on if the PMAS actually helped any performance. I'm gonna wrap up today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.